folks, Ariel over here at Finance. Just wanted to do a little update on the chickens. The ducks look like they would like to walk into the picture too. The Blackie's brood is, I've been calling them the teenagers, but they're pretty close to as big as the adult chickens. It's getting almost difficult to tell them apart. Thankfully they're all different colors. Looking for a teenager. The gray one over there, we're calling Foggy. She's a teenager. Hi, little man. There's several different shades of brown ones. Right behind the camera right now is the one rooster. Anyway, they're looking mostly grown up. Probably in another couple months, those girls will start to lay eggs along with their mothers. We did send one of theirs. A rusty colored rooster. I don't know if he's in the picture. He's one of the teenagers. One of his brothers actually went to a farm in Montana where a lady that I knew from some mutual chicken group and homesteading stuff online needed an Icelandic rooster, so we had a peanut butter marshmallow colored one that went to her farm and has his own flock of ladies now. This right here is Blackie, the one who raised all of them. All the buff colored ones, which I'm pretty sure are buff Orpingtons, and the black and white ones, which I'm fairly sure are Delawares. So that was that's Billy. And that's Burley, who's found himself a very big stick, which is one of his favorite things in the whole world. That was the hatchery special chicks we got to raise as a flock of meat boys this year. They are almost as big as the adult chickens now. They are much larger, heavier breeds, and you can tell as they have grown up through the last few weeks, they've gone from looking a little bit scraggly and sometimes harassing burly to looking like very beefy little fellas. After their first few days inside the shop by the wood stove, when it was still below freezing outdoors, they've pretty much spent their whole life outside as well. And they go everywhere. They go in and out of the barn, and under the barn, and in and out of the kennel, and into the lean-to, where they hang out on the pallets, or up on top of the wood pile, or sit on the picnic table, or scavenge for bugs and such through the forest with the adult chickens, or whatever. They pretty much find their way into and around and on top of everything, which is occasionally annoying, but I'm glad they get to free range. And Willie and Golden Boy are still definitely in charge of the whole flock. Some of our hens are still looking a little scruffy. They've been definitely molting. I can see new feathers grown in on a lot of them. Some still have some scruffy spots. I've been pretty pleased. They've continued, definitely cut back on their laying a little, but continued laying us a good many eggs while they've been molting. I hear sometimes chickens stop laying entirely, so it's nice that they didn't.
Pick a different bucket. Oh yeah, there's why she can't. Because these two have already decided they're simultaneously nesting in this one today. And seem perfectly content, just like that. Crazy ladies. This is not for lack of other, as near as I can tell, identical empty spots available. This is just because we both want this one right now.
They're coming into the picture over here. The ducklings are every bit as big as Mrs. Crack now. It's getting almost impossible to tell them apart. This wasn't going to be a duck update video, but it looks like they're walking into the picture too. It's been fun watching them waddle around. We've got one duck that's a boy for sure. He's got a tail curl. He got that at like 6 weeks old, which is very young. Other than that, I'm hearing a whole lot of loud voices, so it seems like we probably have a lot of hens. But, I know, not as loud as you, but the hen ducks female ducks are much more loudly talkative. It seems like they got a high proportion of girls in there that I don't know for sure yet. Anyway, so right at the moment there are a lot of birds running around this property. They free range all day. They go in and sleep at night. Interestingly, the meat boys haven't actually wanted to, for the most part, sleep inside the barn. I don't know why they go in and out all day, but they all choose to sleep in the one corner outside. And all the Icelandics go up on the teenagers and adults alike, go up on the high perches. I'm still very, very happy with our selection of Icelandics as our main breed to have here. By winter we will be back to only them, and I think next year we'll probably not do what we've done this year and last, the hatchery special spare chicks, because I'm now pretty confident that our hens could probably raise as many chicks as we could want for the year. In addition to Blackie raising her brood of, hi little man, chickens, and then Ember raising 2 broods of ducklings. I know, you don't actually want to cuddle. I know. Give me your sister. She actually is snuggly. Yeah, I know, you just want your ears scratched and then run away. In addition to Ember raising the 2 batches of ducklings, Blackie has wanted to go broody again several times, and so has Ember just the other day. And so has, let's see, who else did? Butterscotch, Ghost, who's the one who laid us our very first egg, and somebody else. We've had at least 5 hens of our 15 adults want to go broody 1 or more times this year. Unfortunately, a lot of the others have wanted to do it in the last week or 2 here. Chicks take 3 weeks to hatch. That would put us... we're in, I'm losing track, we're basically at the end of August. That put us in late September, so by the time they'd hatched we'd have snow on the ground, most likely, or it'd be very cold. And so I've not let them keep eggs to hatch, because I prefer not to have little teeny weeny chicks going into winter. I'd like them to have the whole summer to grow up. But it seems like anytime the eggs pile up for a day, like if I'm away or whatever, we have somebody who decides they want to hatch them. So what I'm going to try, we'll see how well this works, is early next spring, once it's starting to warm up, but fairly early next spring, let some eggs pile up and see if I can get everybody who wants to raise babies convinced to raise them then at that end of summer, so that they have all summer to run around and eat bugs and catch grasshoppers and do all this stuff, and grow up. But I'd say having 5 broody hens out of 15 adults hens qualifies as a high rate of broodiness, so I'm very happy with our flock's ability to reproduce themselves, and delighted with the way they've laid straight through the winter. Like I said, the laying has backed off a little bit here while they've been molting in the heat of summer. It has been pretty hot. Starting to get back to some more reasonable temperatures, and I'm really delighted with their foraging ability. Even the buffs and the what did we just say? The Delawares have been pretty good foragers, here through the summer. They're much heavier birds. They definitely eat a lot more feed, but that's okay. We want them to get big and heavy for fall butchering time. And even with all their foraging, they still really love when I dice up some frozen fish for them. As you can see, if I rattle a bag or hit the chopping block, pretty much every bird on the property comes running, and it doesn't take them long at all to disappear an entire fish. I don't know of anybody else who has a chicken flock that all comes tearing straight to there when they hear a chopping block and an axe, but we've got a flock that does, and it makes me laugh every time. Anyway, so by the time we go back into winter, because right now there's 80 something birds running around the property, we will have we had 15 adult hens out of Blackie's brood. We had 6 more hens of the 9 chicks she hatched. 3 were boys, 6 were girls. And so that's great. That would give us 21 hens. Except we've got one of our adult hens. I don't know where she's at right now. Honey, who is not a good hen. She's been pretty useless. She's been pooping her eggs from the top of the perch. If you guys remember what our perch looks like in the barn, that's a lot of feet in the air, which the Icelandics love. But something's messed up and her hormones are out of whack. She consistently only poops her eggs in the middle of the night from the top of the perch, where they go splat all over the barn, which is not helpful to us. So she's going to go away whenever we do fall butchering, and which would leave us with 14 hens plus our 6 new teenage girls. So we're going to go into winter with 20 hens, our 2 original roosters, and however many of the ducks are indeed girls. 6 weeks is very, very young for a male to develop his tail curl, but we have one that did. I am assuming now that they're 7 going on 8 weeks, since a lot of times that doesn't happen until they're 8 to 12 weeks, that we probably have more than one male in there. It would be rather surprising if we had ended up with 14 hens and one drake out of that 15 ducklings, but we'll see. So we'll have, I'm hoping, at least 6 or 7 or 8 girls to start laying us more duck eggs, and then we'll have our 20 chicken ladies and our 2 roosters, and it'll be a little less crazy going into winter. But all summer we have had a lot of birds running around the place, and they patrol well. It's great watching them scratch and turn over everything. Though it's probably much less important than it is in the winter, I still give them a scoop or 2 of fermented grain every morning, and as you can see, they love it because they all come tearing right after me. If I just call, "Here, chicks," pretty much every bird on the property comes running, and sometimes the cats too. They pretty well in this woods edge here along the creek keep everything stirred up and all the bugs caught, and when it's not super hot and sunny, they like to go out through all of the grass and hunt grasshoppers. They look a little crazed when they do that because grasshoppers hop and fly in funny patterns, so if you're far enough away you can't see the bug, you just see these chickens racing around in a weird zigzag pattern that looks like they really lost their minds. But they catch quite a few of them, and they're a pretty big meal, so that's nice. And yeah, that's just a little summer chicken update, how everybody's doing. And let's see who else here. We got a couple of teenagers over here now. You might be able to see Foggy right behind me there. She's a pretty gray teenager with a very pretty hairdo on top. And if you know anybody who's in the Wyoming area who needs a rooster, a rusty and black one over there, he was the all black chick when he hatched. He's getting beautiful gold, well, in addition to the gold and rust, he's getting blue and green iridescent colors. We don't need another rooster, especially not one that's a half sibling to a whole bunch of our birds, but if anybody else is looking for an Icelandic rooster, he's becoming quite a handsome young man. I'd be happy if we could find him his own flock as well. And he has one more brother somewhere that's black and white who's a nice boy too. He's just not quite as prettily colorful. I know, you come up and talk to me, but then you don't want snuggle. No, I don't want to snuggle. I don't want to be picked up. I don't like that. Put me down. Such a funny cat. Anyway, that's our chicken update. If you were wondering how they're doing, and just when I have the time to sit around and watch them, I really just enjoy watching chickens and ducks do their bird things. They're fascinating creatures, and as I watch them stalk around and chase down bugs, it makes me really thankful that chickens weigh, like 3, 4, 5, 6 pounds. Because, man, I think if I was walking around in the woods and there was chickens that were, 50, 100, 400, 800 pounds, like some of the other wildlife in this area, they would be terrifying creatures. They're incredible predators, and they give us a lot of fertilizer as well as a lot of bug control, in addition to producing eggs and meat. So I'm what, you really, really want this? I'm very happy with our chicken operation here. They're a good fit for the size of property we have, and excited to hopefully by next spring, which is a little ways away, hatch a whole lot of our own babies here on the property. If you had some chicken questions recently, hopefully that answers them. This? Yes? For real? Yes?
We hope you enjoyed it.
Come back next time for more adventures.
Thanks for watching.